Thank you.
Just to interject here, if we can ask Anil sir to ask his question. I think he had typed one question there. So Anil sir can go ahead and ask his question to Dr. Cash, if he's around.
Yeah. Hi, thanks, Amrit. Dr. Cash, thank you for a wonderful lecture. And it's a pleasure to have heard you and about many things that we perhaps have observed and noted, but your lecture has illuminated it even further. I just wanted to kind of raise a point about the financial bond and as to how the strict enforcement of the bonds is very critical. And given the kind of social and political forces at play in many aspects, do you feel hopeful that if we could enforce it strictly, even in the Indian context?
Well, that's the financial bond question is a very interesting one, and I'm glad that you raised the question. I think ultimately, the reason it worked there is because there was trust between the program, between BRAC, between the Shasta Shabaka and the community. If there is no trust, you can't do it. You have to be community-based and there must be trust. If trust is lost, then who's going to put up the money? They say, well, yeah, last week somebody came and took 200 taka and I haven't seen him since. So it requires a long-term involvement and requires trust. And government and local government, when they squander trust, they squander one of their most important resources. So I'm not suggesting that this could be done anywhere and everywhere. It can be done in those situations. And remember that also in the programs that I mentioned, it wasn't just a health program. BRAC is providing microcredit, rural schools, cooperatives, feed stores. It's a billion-dollar operation now. Of course, at that time it wasn't. But trust is really important. And if you don't have trust, you can't do these programs. And so I would say that that is one of the, and in our country, I mean, I just take a look at our own response to the COVID-19. Unfortunately, in my view, the government has lost, particularly the top of the government, has lost the trust of the population. So when even if they give good advice, there are many people who say, oh, yeah, I know who these people are. The only reason they're doing it is because they want to get reelected, or they're trying to make money, or they're pushing their political brand and so on. So if you don't have that, very critical element, you can't do a lot of this stuff. And so I would say a bonding program has value if there is trust between those people delivering the services and those people who are accepting the services. Remember, the Shasta Shabaka is based in the community. She can't run away. she can't abscond. She's there. And so that's very important. It was very important that they had seen that the schools were working. It was very important to see that the microcredit program was working. And it takes a long time to develop that trust, and it can leave very quickly. So it's very, very, very important. And it's very important as you as IAS officers and managers and so on, that trust be there. So if you promise something, then you promise it and you deliver. That's far more important. So those who deliver are more important than the technology itself, as I noted. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think that's a very important point. And like how it is across governance, but more so when it comes to being able to enable it through the community. I think trust is something that is very vital.
Absolutely. And it takes time to develop it.
Yeah. Thank you.
One question was asked by Kalyani there. So
just going ahead with that. Dr. Richard, like now I have a question from Kalyani with regards to the nutrition.
Yes.
So the nutrition being the major portion for everybody's intake on daily basis, and many parents don't consider that as being the major responsible factor for the illness down the lane in the future. So when the things get critical, that is when parents realize the things. So can you just put some light on the things like how important the nutrition factor is?
Well, I think obviously nutrition is quite important. And as you know, India has a very a disturbingly high level of stunting in the community. But I have to say that over, at least, again, I'll go back. I'm sorry to keep going back to my Bangladesh experience, but but I consider all part of the South Asian experience. I have seen severe malnutrition going down dramatically over the years. That is, and one of the reasons for that is because we've done a very good job of reducing childhood illness. The high rates of immunization have been very critical in reducing childhood illness. When I went to Dhaka, and again, this is the data I know the best, the infant mortality in 1967, wow, 53 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but I'm afraid I am. It was 155, 160. It's now down in the low 30s, okay? That's a huge, huge difference. That's a huge drop. And with that drop, we have seen a dramatic reduction in severe malnutrition. Now, stunting is still there. And there are causes for that, including low birth weight, in some areas where there is poor water and sanitation. It may be related to a low-grade infection in the intestine. There are multiple causes. I think we've also, though, come a long way in convincing mothers and caregivers of the importance of good meals to children, adequate meals to children. And so I think that over time, it's been slower than I suppose we'd all like to see, but there has been an increasing improvement in nutritional status of children, so that there are now pockets where it's higher than general. I don't think that you should become obsessed with so much with the numbers as to look at whether or not children are healthy, whether they're going to school, whether they're learning, whether they're getting the meals in school, and so on. I think that maintaining a good primary healthcare system and maintaining very high levels of immunization are absolutely critical. And improving water and sanitation, all the things that you're engaged in are critical. I think all parents want their kids to do as well as they possibly can. Clearly, there are certain kinds of foods that we should be discouraging, like soda pop and things which don't have much nutritional value. That's certainly something that a more national governmental approach might have some value. But I have found over the years that parents are very concerned. They want to do whatever they think is useful within their means, within what they have. And unfortunately, in many places, they don't have the means. And so we have to provide that. We have to provide people with the means so that they can achieve that which they know. I've been convinced over the years, as I say, that most parents, they want the best for their kids. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? And so how do we provide them with the tools for doing that? Where they are under grinding poverty, where food should never be, in my view, an issue. Nobody in today's India, I don't care who they are, should go to bed hungry. There's plenty of food in India. There's plenty of food. It's getting the food to the people who need the food, making sure that it's distributed, but it's not a shortage of food. Those days are past. It's not a shortage of food. It's getting food to people, the right kind of food to people on a regular basis, so that nobody, children, adults, I don't care who they are, should go to bed hungry. Things have changed. There have been dramatic changes over the 53 years I've been coming and going. In fact, I gave a talk the other day in Orissa, on goings and comings. And I can count at least 6 diseases that aren't there anymore that were there when I first came. Smallpox, polio, tetanus of the newborn, guinea worm. There are a whole bunch of diseases that have disappeared. We're focusing on the new ones, but what about the old ones have gone? And we've done a pretty good job with it. Not as good as we should have done, not as fast as it should have happened, but of course my glass is empty now, but so I'm an optimistic person. And the means are there. The means are there. It's not an issue of national poverty. National distribution, yes, but not national poverty. Well, I don't want to keep you beyond your next class or whatever you're doing, but I'm happy to stay as long as you want.
It has been a very engaging discussion, and like we are loving the discussion. So, any further questions, Guru? Or
yes. Oh yeah, one last question. I'll just finish the question.
Okay, we'll take one last one here. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Richard, this is my personal question. From one of your videos that you have said, like, healthcare is basically the peace of mind. So that's what the statement that you had given in one of your videos when I was looking at. So what is your state when we look at India? How far are we from achieving that?
Achieving peace of mind. Is that what you want? That I can't speak to. That's sort of an individual. I mean, there are many traditional, meditation and so on that are designed to achieve peace of mind, and that's. But I think that we need to create situations, be it in India or wherever, where people feel that we're all going to die. I'm afraid that's the first thing they taught me in medical school. That life is not doesn't go on forever, but we should not have to suffer unnecessarily, and we should be able to fulfill whatever our potential is in terms of, not that everybody's going to be a billionaire and so on. No one is asking for that. They simply want to feel that they have a place to stay that's safe. People want to have security. People want to practice their religion, whatever it be. People want to have a feeling of security. They want to have food that they can put on their table. They want to not suffer disease or illness unnecessarily. And I think that's what people want. That's what you want. That's what everybody on this webinar wants. And the challenge to government, to society, because it's not just government, is how to achieve that. How to make sure that we achieve it at the same time we don't hurt others in the process. I could go on and on and on, but I won't because we'll do that another time. When I'm next in Bangalore, hopefully I'll be able to travel there again soon. And I have great fond thoughts of Bangalore and many ethics workshops I've given there, nutrition workshops. So I look forward to coming back to your fair city, which is probably has less pollution now since you don't have as much traffic. Maybe the air-conditioned city of Bangalore is returning, right? The things you've reduced your pollution and it's back to where it was. We've often stayed at the Taj Hotel, which has a beautiful botanical garden. One of my favorite places in all of India to come to. And maybe now you can restore some of that. But it's been a pleasure, and I wish you all well, and maybe we'll see each other somewhere else sometime. And I'd like to thank you for hosting this, Amrit, and others at IIM. And I hope that I've been able to at least address some of the issues that you were interested in.
Yes, Doctor. I mean, the session was very enriching, and yes, it was a real pleasure meeting with you. And on behalf of IIMB and all the participants, I thank you for being so patient and allocating your precious time to us. And you have definitely given us a new dimension, because as policy students, we usually focus a lot on policy development. but your inputs made us understand how important implementation is and how simple implementation could be effective with your experience. So I am sure that the day's learnings will go along in our career. And I thank you so much for your participation and the inputs that you've given to us. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
If there are any questions that come up that I have not had a chance to answer, maybe they could send them to you, Amrit, and I could, I'll do my best to respond.
Dr. Richard, just to let you know, now I know what it means when people say we can't have enough of cash. Right? So, thank you once again. Right? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much. I
Thank you very much,
appreciate it.
sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you
Doctor.
very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.